My name is Abili Nganga, and I am 32 years old. It's not been easy. I went through the primary school with a lot of difficulties. As I am told by my parents, we were turned away when they were looking for school because kids with my condition were not being accepted in school. I had a lot of difficulties because I could get pressure sores, I was wet all the time. Kids didn't want to be near me, and I had a lot of difficulties adjusting to that life. I was born with a condition called spina bifida.
It means that when the baby was developing in the womb of the mother, the spinal cord did not form like it should. The spinal cord begins as a flat sheet of tissue. And normally, that flat sheet folds over and becomes a tube. But in spina bifida, in one area, sometimes over the ribs, sometimes down low, it just stays flat. So the brain and spinal cord, they work down to that point, and the nerves from there down to the legs work, but there's no connection between the spinal cord and the nerves.
So this is like a small place. Spina bifida in a way has its problems because for one, I cannot tell when I want to empty my bladder.
They need to put a catheter, a small tube, up into the bladder about every 3 or 4 hours to drain the urine. If you don't do that, the urine goes back up into the kidneys, enlarges the kidneys, and damages them. Right now, there's no way to fix it so that we can help them to urinate on their own.
I use a catheter size 14 to empty my bladder, and I normally change the catheter monthly. When somebody pinches me, I cannot tell, or I do not have sensation from the knee downwards, so I get a lot of wounds whenever I walk barefooted. When I sit for long, I get a lot of back pains, so I avoid sitting for long. And sometimes when it is too cold, also my feet get very, very cold.
I'm 20 years old and this is my first child. I delivered on 18th March at Rachuonyo District Hospital, Homa Bay County.
The delivery was not all that well. She went under CS. They operated. When they removed the baby, they found that there was a given growth behind. They wrote for us that the child was suffering from spina bifida, but we were not aware of such kind of diseases. I thought that it's just something which you can just go, you operate, and the baby be well. When we came here, we were told that maybe that child will not walk again.
Just hope that she's treated well.
Maybe the kid got this thing because the mother was lacking some blood. She had a little blood. Because they told us the disease can be also caused by lack of blood in the body system.
There's two things that are related to spina bifida here in Kenya. The first one is the mothers never take folic acid before they get pregnant. And if they take folic acid after that, it does not help. Now there's one other thing in Kenya that increases the chance of spina bifida, and that is maize. Maize. And the kind of fungus that gets onto the maize is terrible. It produces a chemical called fumonisin. And that chemical, fumonisin, prevents the spinal cord from folding over into a tube. And so they have two problems. One is they do not take folic acid, and the second one is they eat maize that has mold on it.
We have been having a gap, I would say, in terms of recording specifically the number of spina bifida cases that we are having or encountering through our health facilities. Many of them are recorded under the category of other, and other has got so many other categories, so it is a challenge to be able to tease out from the national HMIS which ones are spina bifida. But going into individual health facilities, then one can be able to see the caseloads that were received.
And last year, we admitted 249 children. So that's like one new baby with spina bifida, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every week, all year long. So it's 1,200 to 1,300 operations, okay? And about 250 of those are spina bifida. The amount of spina bifida that we see here in Kenya is, it may be the highest in the world. The only place I know that is similar is the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in Delhi, India. I mean, they have, I think, six pediatric neurosurgeons, and people come from, all over India, which has 1 billion people, 1 billion, right? We have 42 million, but we have at least as many as they do, and maybe more. Four to 5% of the babies or the children that have been admitted to Kijabe Hospital with spina bifida have died before they go home. So that might be a month after the operation, 6 weeks, sometimes 2 months. So some of these are children that were cared for in a local government hospital for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. The back is draining spinal fluid, they get infected, they come in with a high fever. Their chance of not living is much higher. The baby comes down here sometimes 2 weeks later, sometimes 2 months later, sometimes 2 years later. But the time we need to see them is when they're born. And babies should come when they are born within 1 or 2 days.
Life in college was good, since at least I could manage myself. During that time, I also started having the courage to talk to other parents about spina bifida, and it is during that time that I joined a parent group called Spina Bifida Hydrocephalus Association of Kenya that enabled me to talk more to parents through the group, and also to talk about myself. They used to take spina bifida as normal disability, just something that would happen to anyone. But now, after learning about me, or learning about spina bifida through me, even my own friends have now started taking folic acid.
According to the Kenya Demographic Health Survey, the last one, 0809, we were looking at women who were taking iron folic acid supplementation for a minimum of 90 days. And it was dismal, very low. It was only 3% of the pregnant women. It's a very simple thing to do to prevent by ensuring that all women of childbearing age actually have adequate levels of folic acid in their blood.
When the girls go through puberty, when they're 10, 11, 12 years old, they need to learn about spina bifida. They need to learn about folic acid, and it needs to be available free.
Within our own system, in terms of health workers, the knowledge was low, and also we had challenges with the supply chain. So currently, we have actually addressed all these issues.
If they do those two things, there would be probably the 1/3 reduction in the amount of spina bifida, maybe 30, maybe 40%. And that's big. And the thing is, these are children who are going to have a problem for life if you don't prevent it. So why not?
Mothers who have children with spina bifida, I would tell them that to have hope and to invest in their children, because you never know. Your child might be a miracle that is yet to develop. I would still encourage mothers those who are in childbearing age to take folic acid